right, and here at Thinking North, I have Terry Donnelly from Hill Street Bev Co.
Nice to meet you, Carl.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on.
Do you want to give us sort of the Coles notes of the company?
Well, Hill Street Beverage Company is a company that has been producing alcohol-free wine and beer in Canada for the last 10 years. Those products are available in 45% of the grocery stores in the country.
Okay.
We've grown our distribution in the last 2 years from about 700 stores to about 7,000. So we've had really great take-up on the products. And we are building the business towards the legal cannabis beverage marketplace, which actually legalizes effectively tomorrow. Our products will hopefully be in the market by next spring, as we take our alcohol-free brands and convert them into cannabis-infused products. So you'll be able to find the alcohol-free brands in the grocery store and the cannabis-infused brands in the dispensary come early to mid 2020.
Beautiful. Do you want to tell us a little bit about sort of your background and then your extended team's background?
Sure. So the team, including myself, we've got about 150 years in the beverage industry in various capacities. Prior to taking over Hill Street and turning it into this cannabis company, I was the chief marketing officer at a global advertising agency called MDC Partners. So we manage brands like Budweiser on a worldwide basis. Google, Samsung, Infinity Automobiles, BMW, Target, Bank of Montreal, et cetera, et cetera. We had about 1,500 clients whose brands we managed. So I've been working in the beverage space as a marketing and advertising guy for 30 years of my life. It's kind of the business that's second nature to us. And our team are made up of people who come from those similar kinds of backgrounds. So Coca-Cola, Labatt Blue, Pepsi, people that have worked in and around the beverage space in various capacities, sales, marketing, finance, et cetera, et cetera. We assembled the team so that we could really tackle this new category, this world of cannabis-infused beverages, which requires you to be nimble. It requires you to understand every retail permutation and channel that's out there. It requires to understand formulations and flavors and tastes, and especially, and probably the most important one, is to really understand consumer behavior and what's going to bring consumers to this category and get them to try something that they've never tried before in their life, and hopefully that you can win them over with the taste and experience and make these products a key part of their social future, right? So that when you go to an occasion, that you feel like having a cannabis-infused beverage, and that's a socially acceptable thing to do, and that the products are available and they match your taste profile, and they give you the kind of experience that you would be used to, or that you'd look for in a cannabis-infused beverage.
Well, I'm excited to try one for sure, definitely. What's the share structure of this company?
So the company currently has about 90 million shares. We're traded on the Venture Exchange, the Toronto Venture Exchange. The share price is currently hovering around about 10 cents. And so we're a small cap, early stage company, still a startup. We have about 7 people on staff, so we're just still building the business.
Sure.
We won a double gold medal at the San Francisco International Wine Competition. First time ever that a non-alcoholic wine has won a double gold medal in the biggest wine competition in the world. And then our non-alcoholic beers actually won 3 world championships at the US Open. We won the Retail Council of Canada's best new product. So we've had lots and lots of accolades on the brands that we're developing, which we believe gives us a really good indication that consumers like the product, they accept the product. It's got the third-party validation of taste and experience. And we're starting to see that in the sales of the alcohol-free brands. We've sold, by the end of this year, we'll have sold over 2 million bottles of wine. So we've got a really good sense of what flavors and tastes consumers enjoy, like the ones that sell the best, and then what makes a successful portfolio of wine brands that we can then bring into the cannabis space and create new cannabis beverages based on tastes and flavors that everybody's really used to and enjoy consuming in social occasions.
Okay, great. Do you take a salary?
I absolutely take a salary.
Okay.
Now, is it a salary the same as I had when I was the chief marketing officer of a global advertising agency? No, it's about 15% of what I used to make.
Okay, so you've taken a cut.
We've got a huge cut, and my whole team has. Like we're all heavily invested in the company.
Do you own equity in the company?
The management team owns about 38% of the business.
Beautiful.
Personally, I own about 5% of the company.
Okay. What were your last 3 raises at? Do you remember?
My last 3 raises of my salary.
No, financings.
The financings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So our go public round. So we did one round at around 12 cents. We did our public round at 17.5 cents. Sorry, we did a pre-public round at about 15. We did the go public round at about 17.5. The share price has been hovering around 20 for about the last year.
Okay.
And just in the last couple of weeks, it kind of took a tumble with what's going on in the market.
Sure.
But we're doing everything we can to kind of get the story out that we're nearing, the point of being prepared to tackle the market in 2020. So we hope our shareholders and future investors will be rewarded for sticking with us through what has been a pretty brutal market for small cap cannabis companies.
Yes, and I think it's a good time to get your name out there because we're going into tax law season, and companies with strong fundamentals are going to be potentially at a discount.
Yeah.
So it is a good time to get your story out, right? Because that's when investors need to come in there and look for bargains.
Yeah.
What's your burn rate?
Burn rate right now, we've actually got the burn rate down to about $30,000 a month.
Okay.
And it's because we're generating revenue and margin on the alcohol-free brands. So we actually expect to get to cash flow positive in the next 12 months.
That was my next
and
question.
that includes getting that cannabis product out there and growing the sales and distribution of the alcohol-free brands that we already have in the market.
Okay. Do you know how much of this float is tradable? Since insiders own what, around 38%?
Around 38%?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to know what's happened with the shareholders that invested in the other rounds that we did. Everyone that I talk to tells me they haven't sold a single share, but that's not really theoretically possible given the volume that's in the market. So I don't really know exactly what's out there, but the management team and the board still have significant escrows from the go public round, which was only a year ago.
Okay, what is that?
At least
lockup?
half. It was 2 years.
2-year lockup?
A 2-year lockup.
Okay.
Yeah, so at least more than half, I think, is still locked.
I'll tell you what, I just had a cool idea. We can follow up with you and get an answer and reply on how much of this float that you think is tradable.
Yeah.
And since this will go out on social media, I'm going to put my finger up here because I'm going to put the answer that you're going to give me in a follow-up.
Cool.
Who would you say is your main competition in this space?
Well, the competition is actually one of the biggest assets that we have. When you look at the amount of money that our competitors have invested in cannabis beverages, in Canada right now, that number's around $6 billion, probably more, has been invested in making cannabis beverages a category. So the way I like to think about that is you've got a $6 billion yacht that has been stuck in the harbor, sitting at the dock, the engine hasn't even fired up yet. Well, on December 17th, when these beverages finally hit the market, that engine is going to fire up and that yacht is going to head out to the ocean and take its maiden voyage. About 3-4 months later, I'm going to jump off the back of that yacht with my little wakeboard and I'm going to start surfing the wake that's been created by that $6 billion. My cans take up just as much shelf space as my competitors' cans. Right? So my brand is going to look the same as the other guys. It's going to take up just as much space on the shelf as theirs do. The government is the wholesaler, so they're trying to make a more egalitarian approach by giving all the competitors a relatively equal amount of shelf space. And so as a consumer, you're going to be brought into the category by the billions that has been invested looking for an ROI. They're going to be doing everything they can to attract people to try these products. But once you get close to the shelf, you'll see my product just as prominently as you'll see everybody else's. So hopefully we've got a product that when you get a chance to choose it, you like the taste, you like the flavor, you like the experience, and then you come back over and over again.
What would you say is your most popular non-alcoholic brand right now?
The most popular product we have right now is actually our Chardonnay. It's a fantastic, light, citrusy flavored alcohol-free wine. But the fastest growing product that's selling for us right now is actually our Brut Rosé. It's a sparkling pink champagne. Absolutely fantastic product. And we're going to launch the cannabis marketplace with the same liquids that are in our alcohol-free bottles. And we're going to provide them with cannabis infused versions in different sizes. So they'll come in 750 ml bottles, 375 ml bottles, and then also cans, so that people can sort of try a single serve can of a fermented grape beverage with cannabis in it, and hopefully they'll enjoy the taste and experience.
Beautiful. 2 more questions for you. How much hard dollars has been put into this by insiders, such as yourself and management?
Well, the management team, I think between us and a couple of key board members, probably around $6-7 million has come directly from the core group.
That's part of that 38%?
That's part of that 38%. And then there was obviously the public float that went out there, and then friends and family sort of made up another chunk.
Okay.
So, and then people that participated, high net worth investors and the various investors that came in the other rounds we did.
Obviously, you're at Thinking North today and you're doing this interview with us, but what else are you doing for marketing and promotion to get the word out, your story out to investors, to maybe bring liquidity in?
Yeah, well, I've been participating in numerous conferences. I think this is my 10th investor conference in the last 10 weeks. You know, it's been a very active season for us. We have very, very strong investor relations support. So groups like Hybrid Capital and Proactive Investors, Investing News Network are all partnered with us, Stockhouse Media. So we do everything we can to support the shares, support the share price, tell the story to people. We try to get as much PR for the brand as we can. You know, one of the things that's important about cannabis is there's a prohibition on advertising cannabis, but there's not a prohibition on educating people about cannabis. And so we do as much consumer education as we can, trade shows, media events, sampling, all those kinds of things, so we can educate people about the category, give them an education, let them sample the product, tell them this is exactly what the cannabis product is going to taste like as soon as it's legal. And so we try to do as much of that as we possibly can.
Beautiful. Well, I love it. You know, we market public companies, but we always encourage our clients to go out there and work with multiple different networks, because you need to do that.
Absolutely.
And so you have a very marketable ticker, and that ticker is?
Beer.
Beer. And what exchanges are you on?
We're on the Venture Exchange.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And have a great presentation.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.